going on, Jeromes? It's a beautiful Thursday. Happy Thirsty Thursday out there, everyone. And it's time for another Vikings news dump. Again, he sees you when you're pooping. It's going to be a good day, man. So, starting off, the Vikings playoff hopes are like this. 2 games left, and Danielle Hunter need some big-time games from Danielle Hunter down the stretch if the Vikings want to do anything. And Danielle was a little bit inert against the Lions. They were double and triple teaming him. It sort of is what it is. But Danielle Hunter, posting on the gram, stay the course. Him and his guys, just getting it. Where, I don't know, maybe he has to go LeBron 0 dark 30 and just delete everything. But, yeah, Danielle is in a contract year. I want him back. Pay Danielle. Don't be stupid. He's third in the NFL with 15.5 sacks, leading the league in tackles for loss, and he's a talisman. He's a premium player at a premium position in his prime, even though he's going to be 30 in October. So take care of Danielle. Also taking care of things is, fortunately, Caleb Evans. So Caleb Evans, who I think has sky-high potential, and he left the game against the Lions, and a lot of people speculated, okay, maybe he got injured. Jalen Williams came in and got some work. Also had a BS defensive holding call on a key third down, but again, I digress. I'm over it. I'm never over it. Anyways, but Caleb Evans, Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gershman, Vikings quarterback Caleb Evans will be back out there Sunday versus the Packers per DC Brian Flores after being benched versus the Lions. Caleb has done a lot of really good things for us this season, Flores said. Look, we all have moments. He'll bounce back. And I thought that Evans has played relatively well this season when he's healthy, but there's just some moments. And I don't think it was just him getting shaken out of his shoes by Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that happens a lot now. But he'll bounce back. And again, Caleb Evans, Pro Bowl caliber. We just got to get back on track, man. Also, so have high hopes for Jaylen Speedy Naylor. The day 3 selection, the pride of Las Vegas was from, went to Michigan State, just like Kirk Cousins, connection there, Sparty. But he's been missing a lot of time. And Jaylen Naylor, so Kramer Strib, when asked about Naylor, missed 7 games to hamstring strain and now out to start a 3rd week with a concussion. Promising player whom coaching staff really likes. Kind of a lost season, but with Osborne's free agency, he could have a shot at a 2024 role. Now, Naylor, you remember, Naylor was awesome all during OTAs and mandatory minicamp because Addison had a minor injury. He didn't participate in a lot of it, as well as JJ. It was not there until mandatory. So 83 was the guy to be. Like he was getting first team reps with KJ, looking really good. First day of training camp, he dominated, and then he had a undisclosed injury, missed the bulk of training camp, and then he went on. Did he go on IR? Either way, missed time with the hamstring strain, and he was concussed against the Raiders, and he DNP'd on Wednesday ahead of the Packers game. So now it's starting to get concerning. I mean, if you're DNP after 3 weeks with the concussion, you're concerned. But knocking on all the wood, hopefully he's good to go because Jaylen Naylor, talented dude. I mean, last year he had his first career touchdown against the Packers in garbage time, but I think that he has a chance to be a dude. He just needs a little bit of puck luck when it comes to health. Also, someone who's dominating. That's right, man. So, Ivan Pace Jr. So, UDFA, again, doesn't matter where you draft, and sometimes you don't even have to draft, but acquire good players and things go from there. Ivan Pace Jr. undrafted because of his height and weight, but he's got the hat, and he's been getting after it. PFF, highest graded rookie linebacker in the NFL this season. Ivan Pace is 75.7. Now, there's a handful of notable off-balls taken in this class. Notably, number 18 overall pick, Jack Campbell of the Lions. How's he doing? Actually, I think per PFF, he had his best game of the season against the Vikings on Sunday, but is what it is. But like I said, hey, it doesn't matter where you draft. Just take good players and develop them. Make sure you got guys that got hot like Ivan Pace Jr. 81 tackles, 53 solo, 2.5 sacks, 2 passes broken up, a forced fumble, an interception, 2 tackles for loss, and a partridge in a pear tree. And he's gonna be number 0 next year because Davenport he gonna be gone. And I think Ivan Pace Jr. might be a captain next year. He's calling the defensive plays, making plays out there. I love it. Some I also love. So If you watch the channel for a while, you know that Jacoby Brisket, the pride of NC State, who's bounced around the league as a decent high-end veteran backup, a.k.a. Jabroni Brisket. So he replaced Sling and Sam Howell against the Jets last Sunday, almost led the Commies back to a win, but he's going to be starting on Sunday. And this picture of him sort of went viral because of the angle. So the gluteus maximus is taken over in D.C. Jabroni Brisket is thick, THICC. Ass. It's fantastic, man. Also, something that's fantastic is Jared Allen, yet again, for the second year in a row, is one of the 15 modern era finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2024. That will get whittled down, and eventually 5 names will be elected to Canton in the fall. And Jared Allen, 6th season was the Vikings, worth every single penny of his contract, 136 sacks, tied for 16th most of all time. And he's a top 5 favorite Viking for me. And it goes Randy, it goes Chris Carter, it goes Jared Allen, it goes Antoine Winfield Jr., Everson, John Randall. It sort of vacillates on a given day. But, I mean, Jared Allen I loved how he got after it. Plus, I'll always remember that Thursday night game against, who was it? Oh, Donald Penn. Where they're basically just having a street fight in between snaps. It was great. It was great, man. I always will have some love for Jaron Allen, the Cowboy, Culinary Academy. It's great. The other 15 modern era finalists. So 2 first ballot guys I think are going to get on the first crack. So Antonio Gates. Did you know that he played college basketball? Also, Julius Peppers. Yeah, I mean, Peppers was just a dude for a number of seasons, man. But the 15, Eric Allen. I mean, Eric Allen was fantastic for a number of years. He's a great cornerback, fantastic. Especially remember him with the Eagles before the Eagles were whatever. Willie Anderson was a great tackle for the Bengals. Jari Evans. I mean, Jari Evans was low-key just one of the best guards in football for a long time. It was great. Dwight Freeney. Freeney sort of like Ivan Pace Jr. Like, he never got the time of day because of his size. Actually, no, that's not true. But him coming out of Syracuse, he was like a 6 foot, 220-pound defensive end. How is that going to work? But Freeney and Mathis with the Colts, I mean, that was one, for years, that was one of the best defensive end duos in the league. Gates, like we mentioned, I mean, HOF, easily. Rodney Harrison. So, I mean, Rodney was like one of the OG habitual line-stepping, borderline dirty but really physical type safeties you always had to respect. Hester should be in. So Bears fans don't understand this concept. Devin Hester is the best punt returner of all time. Cordero Patterson is the best kick returner of all time. They're 2 separate things. Hester also returned kicks, but he couldn't carry Cordero Patterson's jock returning kicks. Cordero should be in the Hall of Fame for a kick returner, by the way. Torrey Holt, I mean, think about it. You had Torrey Holt, you had Isaac Bruce, you had Oz Hakeem. Those are some great teams, man. Andre Johnson trying to be the first Texan, first player for the Texans to be in the Hall of Fame. And respect, that's just the U being the U. Peppers, all-time great at the edge. Fred Taylor. So Fred Taylor is going to be a little bit like Frank Gore, where he's a compiler. Like, Fred Taylor was very, very good, but was he the dominant running back of his era? Probably not. Was he top 5-ish for an extended period of time? Yes, I think that's safe to say. But you do have to balance. So my first. Is that you, Rhonda? My first criteria for the Hall of Fame is: were you dominant at your position? So top 2, top 3 at your position for an extended period of time. We'll say 5, 6, 7 seasons, somewhere in there. Or were you very good? Were you top 10-ish for 10 seasons? You have to weigh in like what's more important, dominant for a shorter period of time, or so basically the Tony Baselli argument, the Marshawn Lynch argument, or compile for a longer period of time. So like Fred Taylor, like Frank Gore is going to be, I don't know. Reggie Wayne, finalist again. Reggie deserves to be in. Willis. I'd love me some Patrick Willis. Now, he may get dinged that he retired too early, but Patrick Willis was a bad dude. I mean, Patrick Willis was, I'm trying to think of his era, like probably top 3 in terms of off-ball during his time. Absolutely. Darren Woodson had a number of great seasons with the Cowboys. I don't know if he'll get in with the modern-day candidates. He may have to go the veteran route. Also, here's what sort of gets me too. Like, this is a whole argument for another day, but Hall of Fame, you get so many votes. So a guy doesn't get in on the first ballot, but he gets in on the sixth ballot. Now, I understand there's a numbers game and a backlog and stuff, but instead of just having a set number of players that get in every year, how about just go by case? Like, you should say the guy's name, Hall of Famer, or not. It shouldn't be debate. It shouldn't be because there's a logjam at his position, so he has to wait a couple years. No, that's stupid. Either the guy's either a Hall of Famer or he's not. I feel like that's what it should be. Or there should be a separate, I mean, I know there's separate designations, but almost there should be a separate wing for first ballot Hall of Famers, like no question, slam dunk guys versus your dudes who get in eventually. But I don't know, again, that's sort of splitting hairs there. Also, so this is kind of great. So there's a really stupid debate when it comes up with like sports talk media, where when a player or a coach or whatever misses a game for the birth of a child, and lots of guys talk tough. I remember Mike Francesa, my wife had a kid and I was back at work next day. Cool. I mean, every situation is different, and every single family's situation is different. I mean, what if the mother doesn't have close family around in the area? Like, what if she needs the dude to be there as a support system, or what if he's got a great support system and he returns to play the next day because the wife wants him to, but people judge him for coming back? Or people have opinions. I always say it's your decision. It's very important. Family first, especially if it's that first kid, man. But hey, you heard me, number 2 and 3. But Orlando Brown Jr., so Zeus Jr., Jay Morrison, I think he's the Bengals beat writer. Orlando Brown Jr. missed the birth of his son to play the Steelers on Saturday. And then they're FaceTiming after the game as the wife was going into labor. And then, of course, the Bengals just got boat raced. Like, hey, I feel like if you're going to miss the birth of your kid, you have to at least win, or at minimum cover. They didn't either. Also, I mean, going down the rabbit hole. I mean, Orlando Brown Sr., rest in power. Like, he was a great tackle too. Orlando Brown Jr. Is the son going to be Orlando Brown III, OB3, and is he going to be in the league too? Will he be fantastic? I guess we'll see. Something we'll also see is, so Kirk Cousins. So yes, I fully understand that Kirk was. He born in Illinois and then went to high school in Michigan, or is it the other way around? I think it's born in Illinois and went to high school in Michigan, right? So, Kirk Cousins, buying into the culture here, took his kid Coop to a Wild game. Took Coop to his first Wild game. Yay! It's fantastic, man. Buying in, go Wild. I don't even know if the Wild are good this year, but also video has surfaced of him getting a Kirko chain from the Blackhawks, Chicago Blackhawks mascot. I forget the mascot's nickname. It's said on the video. It's like Hawkeye or something stupid. But see, I'm not aware enough of hockey rivalries to say if this is a thing. Like, I understand. So the Vikings and the Bears are rivals. The Vikings and the Bulls, not so much. They're a different conference. Wild and the Blackhawks. I think the Blackhawks are in a different conference. Doesn't matter. Or like the Twins and the White Sox are marginally rivals. So I don't know the spiciness level of Wild versus Blackhawks, or if there's absolutely nothing at all. Who knows? But all I see is Kirk being a turncoat. Just going, he's either going from Blackhawks to Wild or from the Wild over to the Blackhawks. Either way. Even though I probably grew up a Blackhawks fan. Watching on WGN. Do they have their games on WGN? Doesn't matter. Something that matters is USC. The men of Troy fighting on. Mekhi Blackman, Jordan Addison's alma mater. They're getting things done against Louisville. By the way, bowl season is whatever, especially with all the opt-outs. But, I mean, Louisville not really representing for the ACC. But USC puts the bank thing on Louisville 42-28. And nice rebound game for Lincoln Riley and company. And what's interesting is that Caleb Williams' replacement. Now, Caleb Williams and USC struggled down the stretch. Now, a lot of that was the USC defense, which was ass, thank you. But, I mean, Caleb Williams was clearly forcing things last year. I mean, or this season. And last year, I mean, he had Addison, and he won the Heisman. So, again, Jordan Addison is the greatest wide receiver in NFL history because he made Kenny Pickett a first-round pick. He won Caleb Williams the Heisman, and also everything that he's doing in the NFL now. It's great. But Millard Moss, which is a great name. That's a great Miller Moss. Let's go. In the Holiday Bowl, he was 23 of 33, 372, 6 tutties. Did have 1 pick, but he did run down the cornerback, or he diverted the cornerback, so he stopped the pick 6, which is great. And so, as a quasi-USC fan, or just someone who watches football late in the night on Saturdays, I will say that Caleb Williams was definitely off. And you could blame his receivers. You could blame the defense from always putting the offense in the jackpot. You could blame O-line, sure. But I'll be honest, Miller Moss looked more impressive in the Holiday Bowl against Louisville than Caleb Williams did at any point this year. Throwing with anticipation, playing within the framework of the offense. It just seemed like... So, Caleb Williams is a lot like Mahomes in that he makes great plays off script, and they're going to get the highlights. They're going to make social media buzz, but it almost feels like he ignores the offense, or he ignores the framework of the offense just to make a play and play a little hero ball. Now, that comes across as critical. It's not really critical because, I mean, that's what he's made his game from, right? It's like, Josh Dobbs is much better making plays off script than on script, versus Nick Mullins, where if Nick Mullins improvises, sometimes not good. But, I mean, Miller Moss, he's got a good arm. He was accurate, threw with anticipation. Put the ball in spots where only the receiver could get it. And again, Louisville's not a slouch, but I mean, he looked really good. And Miller Moss 2025. Let's tank. Go ahead, man. But that's it. That's today's Vikings news dump. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.